everybody, Jennifer Jennings, your online real estate advice columnist. Loving some of the stuff that y'all are sending in. If you've got questions, don't forget to email me at heyjenrealtor@gmail.com. I got one today, which on the surface seems like kind of a silly question, but it is one of the best questions we've gotten so far. It says, "Hey Jen, I recently bought a house and I had to go to the post office to get my mailbox keys because the seller wouldn't give me theirs. Is that normal?" You know, in real estate, there's normal, and then there's what should happen, and they're not always kind of the same things. So to answer the question, is that normal? Yeah, because listen, real estate is crazy, and the craziest things seem to be the normal practice. However, should it happen? No, it shouldn't. Here's why. So when you are a seller and you sign a listing agreement, there is an entire 2 paragraphs on the listing agreement in Texas that talks about what improvements and accessories are going to sell with the house when you buy it. And some of the fun things that people forget about that do have to convey or sell with the property are like the curtains and the rods, the blinds, the window shades, draperies, door keys, and mailbox keys also are listed in the listing agreement as things that the seller is willing to turn over to the new buyer when the closing does occur. Now, do people get like a little bit weird about it? Yeah, and I really don't understand why. Your mail shouldn't be going there anymore anyway, but like territorialism kind of sets in and people don't want to give over their mailbox keys. So is it normal? I mean, it happens a lot. Should it happen? No. And this is the job of a good listing agent when you're going through the property and telling people, hey, these things convey, these things don't. But as a buyer, since you don't know what a seller has been told or not, here's some of the things to look out for. When you walk in the house and you see like a cute little bedroom and the comforter actually matches the drapes that are on the wall, that's kind of a red flag to you to be able to say, hey, if you really want those drapes, you better make sure that you spell it out on the contract, because chances are they're planning on taking that really nice little matching set to the next house. Also, I'll tell you what, I've had 2 crazy closings where these things kind of came up. And one of them, it actually does say on the things that are going to convey to the property that the shrubbery, the landscaping, outdoor equipment, etc. is going to convey. Well, I had a house and I didn't even think about this, but the edge of the flower bed was all edged with petrified rock. It was really cool. It was a really cool looking property. And when we got to closing, the buyer said, "Where's all the rock?" And I thought, what are you talking about? And come to find out, my sellers had gone back to the house and had taken all the petrified rock out of the flower beds because it was rock that they had collected on their great grandma's farm in Texas somewhere, and it meant a lot to them, and they were moving that rock to the next house. And so at the closing table, the buyers literally said, "We're not buying the house without the petrified rock." And my sellers were just shocked. Like, what do you mean? Like, those are our rocks. So we had to talk more about this. And I said, hey, remember when we read through the contract and it said that the landscaping and the shrubberies and all that have to convey? You kind of agreed to that. And so they apologetically said, yes, you can have it. They went, put the rock back, went back out to great grandma's land and picked some more rock for their next house, and all is well and good. But little things like this happen, and it's always at the last minute. It's always at the closing table. But what you should know is that your listing agent and your buyer's agent should always go back to the contract. The listing agreement says these things have to convey, but the sales contract gives an opportunity for a seller to reserve any of those items. So I had this one happen before too. The seller had planted a beautiful plant in memory of his mom because he got the plant from the funeral, and he brought it home and he put it in his garden, and we reserved that piece of landscaping to be able to be dug up and not party to the sale. So you really want to make sure, if you fall in love with something in the house and you think that there's even the possibility that the seller might want to take it, make sure you spell it out in the contract that you are expecting that to convey. And if you're the seller and you don't want great grandma's chandelier to convey with the property, best case is to take it down before you put the house on the market. But if you don't do that, make sure your agent remembers to reserve it in the sales contract, because just because you reserve it on the listing agreement does not mean you've reserved it on the sales contract. So should the mailbox keys convey? In a short answer, yes. Do they always? No. And I really don't know why. It kind of seems silly to me. Thanks for the question. Keep them coming. I really enjoy reading what y'all have to say. You can email me at heyjenrealtor@gmail.com. Thanks, guys.